Last couple of minutes. It has to do with DA Fani Willis and whether or not she can stay on the case. I'm Rick Fulton.
And I'm Lana Harris. We have Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joy Lim-Nakrin joining us at the breaking news desk with a breakdown on this order. So Joy, fill us in here.
Well, Lana and Rick, just a short time ago, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee ruled he will allow an appeal of his own decision. Remember, last week, he ruled that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis can remain prosecuting that massive election interference case against the former president and his allies if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade was removed or resigned. And then shortly after that, Mr. Wade did resign. Well, since that time, the president's lead Georgia attorney filed a motion to appeal the decision to allow Miss Willis to stay. So that legal team, as well as lawyers for 8 other defendants, asked again for Miss Willis to be removed and for the charges to be dropped, calling for an appeal of McAfee's decision. And again, just moments ago, within the last 90 minutes, Judge McAfee granted that request. Also breaking into our newsroom just moments ago as well, Mr. Trump's lead Georgia attorney, Steve Sadow, released a statement saying in part, quote, "This is highly significant. It means the defense is permitted to apply to the Georgia Court of Appeals for pretrial review of the judge's order refusing to dismiss the case or disqualify Fulton County DA Willis. The defense is optimistic that appellate review will lead to the case being dismissed and the DA being disqualified." So now, yes, the case does head to the Georgia Court of Appeals. They still do need to actually agree to hear that matter. Obviously, we'll keep following all the breaking developments.